This is the second part to the Latch Cube tutorial. The first one I showed you how to solve all these edge pieces. Now I'll show you how to solve for these corner pieces. So the corner piece is a two-step process. You have to first place them into their correct places and then rotate them. However, through the method I use, it's possible to reduce the amount of rotations you have to do by trying to solve as many of these corner pieces through placing them. So by placing them, I want to place them in the correct position so I don't have to rotate it later. It's very difficult to do that for all of them, but it's simple enough to do that for several of them. So first pick a color. I'll start with blue. So I'll take this blue, white, and red corner piece, and I want to move that over to here. So I have to replace this with this piece. So the first thing to do is to take this to the bottom layer, and then take it out of the way. Now I'm going to replace it, and substitute it back in. It's connected, and now this corner piece is solved. And I'm going to repeat that. So now I want to put this one into here to solve for this blue piece. But one thing you have to watch out for is to make sure that the piece directly underneath it, in this case this one, is not solved. If it is solved, then there's no point in having this solved, because doing this algorithm from here would end up messing this up. So first I have to move this one out of the way and try to solve it. So I'm going to bring this down to the bottom, and right now that won't work because there's two opposing arrows. So instead of this, I'm going to have to try a different way. So I can't use this side, so I'll bring this piece to the bottom, and from here I still can't use a blue side, but I'll try using the red side. So I'm going to take this down to the bottom face, then replace it. Now bring the piece I'm substituting it with over, and then replace that. So my first two pieces done, and now I can do this piece. Okay. So I'm going to take this piece and move it over to here. So again, take this down to the bottom face, take it out of the way, then bring this other piece over and substitute it. So now I'm almost done with this layer, and the last piece I need would be this one. So I'm going to put this one in here and replace them. So first bring this down to the bottom, and take this one out. And right now that doesn't work because of this piece. So I'll try using the other face. Okay, so I've taken it out, and I'm going to replace it. Oh, and it also turns out I can't do it with this side either, because this one. So go back and undo what I just did. So I'll have to find a different way to put this one in. Okay, I'll try from here. So it's the same two pieces. Let's see if I can do it from here. Okay, turns out I can. Okay, so I solved that. Now I'm left with these pieces. Okay, so I'm going to switch these two, and then switch those two. So take this one down to the bottom. That won't work, so I'm going to have to use this side. So take this one down to the bottom again. Take it out. And then replace it. Okay, so I've reduced all of these by solving them as I just placed them in their correct places. But now I'm left with these three, which I wasn't able to correctly place. So now I have to rotate these. And I'm just going to use a regular algorithm for the 3x3x3 with slight modifications. And for this, try not to do 3 corners at once. Try to separate them into doing 2 corners per algorithm, because that makes it the easiest to deal with. Okay, so for example, I don't want to do these 2 corners starting from this position, because if I solve this one, then I have to solve this one. But that means I'd have to move it over to here, and these 2 arrows don't match. So instead, I could try starting from here, taking the same 2 pieces, but if I rotate the cube around, I can solve this one. Then when I move it over, there's no other arrow to oppose this one. So I'll start here and I'll rotate these. And since if I rotate these 2, I want to have this one solved so that these 2 are next to each other. So this one will go counterclockwise, this one has to go clockwise. So I'll solve for this one first. So I have to turn it clockwise so it's still mixed. And I'll use the front and bottom faces. So I'll do 3F inverted, D, inverted, F, 3D inverted, 3F inverted, D inverted, F inverted, 3D inverted. And since that ended up being solved, I want to do that one more time, since it actually went counterclockwise. So again, 3, F inverted, D inverted, F inverted, 3D inverted, 3, F inverted, D inverted, F inverted, 3D inverted. And now move the next one over, and do the same exact thing one more time. So 3F inverted, or in this case, since there's no more arrows, I could have just done F. And then D inverted, now F inverted, 3D inverted. And again, 3F inverted, D inverted, F inverted, 3D inverted. When I move back, that piece is now solved, and I'm left with 2 corner pieces. Okay, so this one goes counterclockwise, this one goes clockwise. So again, if I start from here, I have counterclockwise arrows, but if I move it over, I have clockwise, so they oppose. So I can't start with the green side in front, I can try with the yellow side in front. So if I solve this one, there's a black arrow here, and there's no arrow here, so there's nothing to oppose it. So I'll start here, and I'll do that one more time. So 3, F inverted, 3D, F inverted, D, 3 F inverted, 3D, F inverted, D, and one more time, 3 F inverted, 3D, F inverted, D, 3 F inverted, 3D, F inverted, D. Now move it over and do it one more time. 3 F inverted, or it could have been just F, 3D, F inverted, D, 3 F inverted, 3D, F inverted, D. And that's how you solve the latch cube. Thank you for watching.